State, maximize your possessions. 3-0 when you've scored 70 or more, 20 or more turnovers in 2 of the last 3 games, and you're going to need to defend the perimeter. Missouri State, 40% of their scoring comes from the three-point line.
And Aruna Sissoko wins the opening tip right to Kendall Lewis, who goes straight to the rim and draws a foul 3 seconds into this game.
A great start there from Illinois State, who Ryan Peden has emphasized energy from the tip. Really a great start there to set the tone in a conference home game.
Foul called on the floor. Look at Illinois State's starting lineup. Kazuki, Poindexter, Burford, Lewis, who all started the last game. Aruna Sissoko back in the starting lineup for the 5th time this year. Now take a look at Missouri State. They made a change from their last game. Chance Moore and Kendall Moore back in the starting lineup, along with Mongbo, Clay, and Dallin Ridgnall. Missouri State coming off a loss Saturday at Belmont, 74-61. That is tipped away with 9 on the shot clock. The Bears coming in 4-2 in the Valley thus far, having won 4 of their last 5 games. Kendall Moore will inbound the basketball, transferred from Colorado State. Shot clock is down to 5. Clay looking to get something going here against Lewis. Good battle. Clay gets all the way to the hoop and scores. That'll be pretty fun, though. Clay versus Lewis, if we see that matchup all night.
Yeah, I wondered, Scott, who from Illinois State would get that matchup. We highlighted Donovan Clay in the open, and already a lot of contact. Really a tremendous defensive possession from Kendall Lewis, and we're going to get Donovan Clay here on the push. I just said it, there's a ton of contact between the two already. Clay was fortunate to get the loose ball, but he's got 1 foul already, and that's not a guy that Dana Ford wants to see get into foul trouble.
So 2 early team fouls on Missouri State, less than a minute gone by. As you look at Kendall Lewis, who's trying to get his offense back kick-started, only averaging 6.6 a game over the last 4 games. Illinois State winning Saturday at Evansville, 69-61, to get their 2nd conference win. Sissoko on the block. Up with the right hand, can't score it. And the rebound cleared by the Bears' Jonathan Mongbo. 3-ball left side is good for Kendall Moore. A 33% three-point shooter makes it 5-0 in favor of the Bears.
The Colorado State transfer from the state of Illinois, a Danville High School graduate, Scott. And that's almost his 200th career three-pointer, a really successful career at Colorado State, finishing it now in Springfield for the Bears.
That's the perimeter play that we just said is a key defensively for Illinois State. Malachi Poindexter gets the bounce off the back iron, coming off a career-high 18 points on Saturday.
Yeah, we highlighted in the open, Scott, he walked on at Virginia, so he didn't play a ton of minutes. I think the highest he played was 14, and so every game he's going to get a little bit better. You can see right there the offensive game developing. He's not just a shooter able to drive into the lane, hit the easy two.
Chance Moore cut off by Poindexter, and he draws the turnover from Moore, the traveling violation. So it'll be Redbird basketball.
Yeah, the physicality, I think, so far stands out, Scott. There's been a ton of contact. Sissoko had a travel where he got run into. There's a travel. Lewis and Clay got mixed up, and that's what Missouri State wants to do. If you look right here on the floor, they're pretty big 1 through 5.
Illinois State 4-4 here at home at Sefcu Arena this season. We're going to get above 500. Lewis ducks the shoulder, has it blocked by Chance Moore. 9th block of the season for the sophomore from Georgia, transfer from Arkansas. Long 3-ball, short from Kendall Moore, and the rebound for Kazuki. Kazuki starting for the 3rd consecutive game, as both of these head coaches have been shuffling their lineup throughout the season. Lewis, good pass, Sissoko lays it up and in.
Right there, you're going to see flashes of what Illinois State can do offensively, Scott. If they don't turn the basketball over, they have guys who can share the basketball right there. A good back cut by Kendall Lewis. Donovan Clay kind of tripped, and an unselfish play to find Sissoko.
Redbirds cannot control the rebound. It'll be Missouri State basketball. Illinois State had 14 assists in that game Saturday on 24 made baskets for the season, only averaging about 11 assists per game. Obviously, you want to get that number up there. Catch and shoot, Chance Moore for 3. Nothing but net. So Moors have knocked down threes. Kendall and Chance, no relation. 8-4 Missouri State.
the thing that Missouri State does really well, we talked about it in the Open, is Scott, almost no one is outside of Donovan Clay kind of that go-to guy. They get contributions across the board, and we talked about it when 3 guys score in double figures, really hard to guard.
Chance Moore is their leading scorer. The only scorer in double figures this year at 13 a game. Missouri State turns it over. Burford can't score. And coming the other side is Donovan Clay. Ridgenell pulls up for 3, and that's a third made three-pointer for Missouri State and 4 attempts thus far.
And right now it's just been transition. 2 of those three-pointers from Missouri State have come where Illinois State just couldn't find matchups. Burford's missed layup leads to a run out. Missouri State 1 through 5 is quick up and down the floor, and so far the tempo is favoring the Bears as those transition threes have hurt the Redbirds.
Missouri State 4th in the Valley in three-point shooting, 34%. As that pass trying to go inside Sissoko, and Illinois State turns it over. Missouri State riding the 3-ball early in this game. They've knocked down 3 of them and have a 7-point lead on Illinois State here on the Valley on ESPN. Looking inside the Missouri State huddle, head coach Dana Ford, 5th year as the Bears head coach, 9th year overall as a head coach. And of course, Dana very familiar with this arena. Of course, a player here at Illinois State as well as a coach.
Yeah, Dana Ford, 5-1 his last 6 against the Redbirds. But like you said, Scott, it's always interesting to come back and play against your alma mater. I know in conversations with Dana, he's always wished ISU well. I think he has a soft spot, obviously, from having played here and has done a good job there in Springfield, Missouri.
And Ryan Peden in his first year at Illinois State after the last 5 years as an assistant at Ohio State, and stops prior with Butler, Illinois, Toledo, Miami of Ohio, in Kent State, really working his way through the system, you'd say, to get a head coaching job.
Yeah, a guy that with tremendous success at Ohio State has had opportunities before this and picked Illinois State because of what he thought he could build here. And foundationally, you can already see what Coach Peden is trying to build, as Illinois State has done a good job here in his first year.
That ball before the timeout was actually out of bounds off of Missouri State. And Malachi Poindexter picking up where he left off. On Saturday, he has 5 points. And it's a 4-point game. Jonathan Mongbo hands it off to Chance Moore. Guarded by Poindexter. He pulls up. This is front iron. Rebound snared by Seneca Knight, who checked in during the timeout. Liam McChesney also in there, along with Lewis, Poindexter, and Burford. Lewis being watched by Mongbo. Defender falls down. Poindexter, step back 3. Kept it alive. Seneca Knight did. Second opportunity. Spins it up and in. And a foul for Seneca Knight. So a good job on the offensive glass by Knight. And a chance to pull the Redbirds within 1.
Scott, you're starting to see a little bit of Illinois State playing within their roles, and Malachi Poindexter kind of taking over that scoring point guard. A good-looking three-point shot as the defender fell down, but Seneca Knight's role is kind of an energy garbage man, cleaning up the glass there. He's able to get himself an extra possession, get something going, and for a guy who can struggle to score at times, it's always nice to get an easy one as 11-4 into the media, and Illinois State comes out with a quick 6 points.
These are 2 of the top 3 offensive rebounding teams in the Valley, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Rebounding really in general in this game, as both teams very successful when they out-rebound their opponent.
And Illinois State here switches to a zone for the first time, and
Ridgenell just shoots over it for his second trifecta.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if Ryan Peden was hoping for that. And obviously we've talked about, you just mentioned the rebounding, but the size. Missouri State is so big that kind of pushed their offense out, and I think you'll live with a 26-footer there without very much ball movement.
Seneca Knight just had the 3-point play. Penetrates. Has to kick it out to Liam McChesney. Shot clock at 8 for Burford. Out of 5. Knight coming out of the corner, explodes to the rim and draws the contact and the foul. So Seneca Knight very aggressive in the couple of minutes he's been in the game thus far.
Another really good drive there by Seneca, and Dana Ford is visibly upset with his defender, who right there you just check, close out, chop your feet instead of flying for a ball fake. And Seneca Knight, not necessarily known for his three-point shooting, just not a very fundamental closeout there. And leads to an easy drive to the basket for Seneca as he hits the first free throw.
Second foul for Kendall Moore. So he comes out. Colton Sandage, the hometown kid, is into the lineup for the Redbirds as Poindexter goes to the bench with 5 early points. And Seneca Knight goes 2 for 2. He's 75% at the line this year. Of course, the Redbirds 6th in the country, 80% free throw shooting. Missouri State dead last in the nation in free throw shooting.
The very bottom. And really actually cost them probably the Belmont game. 10 of 19, their last one out in the loss to Belmont.
Well, the three-point shot's been working so far today. That one's no good. Ridgnall, though, with the offensive rebound.
There's just no real surprise, Scott, as to why they lead the conference in offensive rebounding right there. 2 guys flying to the glass just on top of Colton Sandage, who had good position, but just the verticality there of Missouri State leads to an easy putback.
McChesney trying to get it out to the corner tonight. And it's intercepted by Donovan Clay, the transfer from Valparaiso in his 2nd overall season with Missouri State. We referenced it off the top, one of the only starter back from last year's 23-11 Bears team that went to the NIT as Lewis clears the rebound. Burford penetrates, almost slipped. Sandage, now Knight from the corner. Offensive rebound, Burford, nobody there to block him out, puts it up and in.
That's one thing Darius Burford does incredibly well, and just on that side of the floor, but he's 11th in the conference in defensive rebounding percentage there. Able to get the kick out and stays in the paint for the offensive rebound. Another good shot fake by the Birds as Missouri State flew by again, which led to another open look. Poor fundamentals there from the Bears.
16-14, Missouri State by a pair. Ridgnall really feeling it. And having the box out there, Burford, right to your point, a very good defensive rebounder for a guy that's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, and right there, didn't just rely on the athleticism, and DB has that in spades, but a great box out too, and that's how you become a very good rebounder, the athleticism combined with the fundamentals.
Good defense by Mogbo as he was fronting McChesney, gets the steal and draws the foul. Timeout on the floor. A good one thus far here in Normal. 11:54 to go first half. Missouri State 16, Illinois State 14. 82nd all-time meeting between these two programs, Illinois State and Missouri State. The lone meeting this season with now the new 20-game conference season. You don't play everybody twice. Redbirds and Bears will only match up here today. Illinois State has the better overall of things, but Missouri State has won 5 of the last 6 overall in this series.
Missouri State was picked 4th in the Valley, Scott, and for a team that wants to compete for championships, you have to win road conference games, and so this is a big one for Missouri State and Illinois State as well, but I was really impressed, Scott. Dana Ford, 15-6 in MVC road games the last 3 seasons, and typically you hope to steal a few or beat the teams you're supposed to and stay around 500, and so really good job so far from Illinois State matching the intensity of the Bears, but a team that really travels well and plays well on the road.
Both teams shooting over 45% so far, but the big difference, Missouri State has made 4 of 9 three-pointers. Illinois State 1 for 3 from downtown. Missouri State basketball out of the timeout. Rafe Ayers has come into the game as Donovan Clay brings it ahead. Ridgnall has been the leader thus far for the Bears with 8 points. Clay can't finish. Lewis the rebound.
And only Donovan Clay's second shot attempt. Kendall Lewis has done a good job. That possession you saw Liam McChesney get the matchup, and that's something that Ryan Peden does, is uses Liam McChesney's length on the defensive end to their advantage in certain matchups, so he's going to draw Donovan Clay now.
Knight. Good burst from him off the bench with 5 points. 3 ball. Too strong by Sandage. Burford kept it alive, but deflected to Damian Mayo, a true freshman from St. Louis. Did a prep year before that, though. Played at Chaminade in St. Louis. Clay, gonna back down Lewis. Deep 3, Ridgnall has already made a couple. That one was way off. Deflects to Clay. Now Ridgnall drives it, trying to posterize somebody. Ball ends up hitting the rim, and now Ayers a three-pointer halfway down, batted around. Illinois State comes away with it.
A lot just went on in that possession, Scott.
Burford out to Knight. Knight, he drives, hangs, and it's swatted away from behind by Jonathan Mogbo, who is 4th in the Valley in blocks per game.
And another guy who can block shots, Liam McChesney, first in block percentage. Doesn't play as many minutes as Mogbo, but certainly has the ability to block shots, and there is able to avoid being on the receiving end of a poster on the other end. See Mogbo's block there, but McChesney blocks one, and so up and down we go. A lot of frenetic play there in the last 45 seconds.
And the teams are attacking the paint. Illinois State has 8 points in the paint. Missouri State with 4. McChesney. Kazubke's back in there, bumping with Rafe Ayers, who is called for the foul.
Just too much contact there from Ayers. Looks like he was using the shoulder instead of the chest and kind of creating that contact. And not a necessary foul. I wouldn't say Luke Kazuki as a scorer there from the mid-post. And now we're going to get a whistle and talk about some more contact. And right now, Scott, we've talked about it. Pretty physical game thus far.
Very physical. Officials, a couple of extra words there before giving the ball for the inbounds. This is going to be out of bounds to Missouri State. The 4th Illinois State turnover thus far. Missouri State with 2, and there's no beating around the bush really with the turnover situation for Illinois State. They had the victory Saturday, but still had 19 turnovers, averaging just under 15 a game. The last 2-3 games have been a struggle in that category. 3-ball by Rafe Ayers, and Missouri State leads by 5.
That's why the turnovers hurt, Scott, is they have a statistic called non-steal turnovers, and Illinois State is 352nd in the country, which means the ball is not getting taken from you. Right there, Illinois State just throws the basketball out of bounds. It's a three-pointer on the other end, and we talked in Keys about maximizing possessions, and that's just one you're giving up, and giving up a 3 on the other end.
Kazubke gets the 3 back with his 21st made three-pointer of the year, 41% from distance.
And now you see why the turnovers are so critical, because when Illinois State can run their offense, it ends up looking good. They just don't give themselves enough chance to do it consistently.
That's why one of your keys is maximize possessions, as we got a foul, Missouri State offensive foul. It's on Ayers, his second. 6th on the team with 9:29 to go first half. Missouri State has led the entire way through, led by as many as 7. It was 11-4 at our first media timeout. And we will see Alex Kotov come on for the first time for Illinois State.
Dana Ford going to trust Ayers here. He got a quick 2 fouls, but they're going to leave him on the floor. Not something you necessarily see all the time, especially with 9:20 left in the half.
Kazubke feeling it, misses that one. And the rebound by Chance Moore. Alston Mason has come on for the Bears. A sophomore from Overland Park, Kansas, Played for Oklahoma last year. Chases this one down in the backcourt. It was deflected. He's guarded by Kazubke. One-on-one into the paint. Fading back, misses it, and the rebound, Knight. Seneca Knight. Kazubke and stepped out of bounds, so the ball may have hit the sideline. And there's one of those turnovers that you mentioned, not necessarily forced by Missouri State.
Yeah, just one more dribble and a jump stop there, and Seneca Knight can deliver it. Instead, throws a pass on the run that's off the mark. Kazubke could have had a three-pointer there. Instead, it's a turnover the other way, but right now, Missouri State struggling to get anything going. One of their last 9 here from the floor.
37% now for the game, 7 of 19. Chance Moore loses control. Knight knocked it away. Moore gets it back. Original to the baseline. This is N.J. Benson, a true freshman. And now Mason way out deep. And the rebound. Oh, Knight had it. Stolen away by Dalen Original. Chance Moore to the basket. Can't get it to go, but it'll go to the free throw line. Seneca Knight will pick up the foul. This play by Moore. Chance Moore at the free throw line, where he's 62% on the season. And again, Missouri State has a team 59%, 352nd in the country. We'll see how much of a factor that is today when you're taking on Illinois State, the 6th best free throw shooting team in the nation.
One of the things, Scott, to do to win on the road is do the little things, and that includes make free throws. And this is a team, Dana Ford typically has a very good offensive team. They're struggling right now, one of their last 10, and you've talked about the free throw shooting. At some point, you feel like that's going to become a major factor in a game that right now looks like it's going to be close.
And I think that'll be a 3rd foul on Rafe Ayers. Called it on somebody else. We'll check it when we come back here. 20-17 Missouri State. We got a timeout on the floor in Normal. Three-point Missouri State lead, 20-17 here in Normal. The Missouri Valley Conference is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the passage of Title IX legislation throughout the academic year. The Valley is honoring pioneers from league institutions who paved the way for current and future student athletes. To learn more about the conference's Title IX recognition plans, visit mvc-sports.com/Title IX 50. Scott Sudikoff, Sean Johnson back with you. Missouri State has led the entire way, have led by as many as 7, have a 3-point lead here. Just saw the 3rd foul on Rafe Ayers. Missouri State, though, maintaining this lead, even though they've only made 1 of their last 10 shots.
For a team that gets 40% of their scoring from the three-point line, 13 of their 20 attempts, 5 threes, so 15 of 20 points. Cocktail napkin math, 75% there. Scott, you can check me if I'm wrong, but Illinois State can...
I don't have a cocktail napkin, so I can't help you.
That's good. That's good. Illinois State just defend the perimeter a little bit here. Stop turning the basketball over. 5 so far, but looks like we're headed for, right now, a back-and-forth affair here in SEPQ Arena.
Our bosses might be concerned if we had cocktail napkins right now at the tables. Lewis knocks down both free throws. 1-point game. The Bears remain in front. Missouri Valley Conference action on this Wednesday night in January. Happy to have you with us on the Valley on ESPN.
This is a really challenging defensive game for Illinois State, and I say that as
Donovan Clay, three-pointer.
But the reason I say that, Scott, is Missouri State runs almost no actions on the offensive end. There's no screening away. There's no ball screens. It's very much one-on-one isolation, guard the basketball, and that's a challenge. So we'll see how well Illinois State does on their matchups.
Poindexter gets himself free, and he matches the three-pointer from Donovan Clay. Poindexter with 8 points thus far.
Now 8 threes in his last 3 games. We've talked a lot about Malachi Poindexter, how much better he's going to get. And Ryan Peden said after the win, felt like he's grown up a lot. Darius Burford has played really well, and this Illinois State team is finding some success here with their perimeter play.
Back to a 1-point game. That 3-ball by Donovan Clay, by the way, was only the 4th he's made all year. He's only taken 16. And good job by Jonathan Mogbo. He felt the pressure behind him, but quick little up fake. Threw Kotov off, and he lays it up and in.
Yeah, good post pass. Kotov went for the steal there, just caught himself out of position a little bit, but that was another possession where right there, Original kind of stood in front of us on the Carl logo and just never moved the entire possession.
Burford tied up a bit, looking for some help. Nobody comes to get it, and he throws it away. Seems like an instance there where somebody's got to get to Darius Burford there to help him out.
Yeah, just can't pick up your dribble there. That was just one of those situations where DB caught himself stuck about 35 feet from the basket, no cutting action, and that's one of those turnovers we've talked about, Scott, where Illinois State shooting themselves in the foot as opposed to making the defenders make a play.
Well, there's Kotov trying to make up for it with a steal as he's fouled, and we'll have free throws. That's the 8th team foul on Missouri State. Mogbo, his first foul.
And Missouri State really, Scott, only plays 7 players big minutes, and so 8 fouls so far. Ayers has 3 of those 8, so you're not going to see him here for a while, and so we'll see what depth Missouri State has and how well it withstands this next 6 minutes here.
That was Kotov's first free throw attempt of the season. Chance Moore, early 3, front iron. Kotov the rebound. This is what we're told we might see with Illinois State. Kotov getting some time. Might see Petrakis really working the big men they have on the bench. Ryan Schmidt could see some time eventually. Illinois State gives it up once again. Liam McKenzie. is going to come back in, replacing Kendall Lewis. Chesney back in the starting lineup the prior 3 games. They had missed the 2 games prior to that after rolling an ankle in the game against Eastern Michigan back on December the 7th. Longbow, one-on-one with Kodov. Help comes from McChesney. Chance Moore explodes to the rim, takes the contact, scores, and the foul as he challenged McChesney at the rim.
He really did, and that was an incredibly athletic finish. And the question right now is they talk about wall-ups. We'll see right here, Liam McChesney just went vertical. I don't think you can call that a foul, as he didn't really extend at all. He vertical wall, the jump wall is what they call that, and kind of just took away the driving angle from Moore. And great finish from him there. And
second foul on McChesney. And Chance Moore at the free throw line. Played in 5 games last year for the Razorbacks. So far in his Missouri State career, he's leading the team in scoring, 13 points a game.
Another sub from Illinois State there. Alex Kotov heads off, but just gave really good minutes of steal. Got to the free throw line, guarded the post, and that's a guy you feel like if he can contribute a little bit here and there, this Illinois State team becomes much more dangerous with his talent level on the floor.
7 points for Chance Moore after the free throw make. Aruna Sissoko has come on for the Redbirds. 6-point Missouri State lead. They've led by as many as 7. Illinois State has not led yet in this game. Sandage up fakes. Now in the hands of Kazumki. He gets free. Good bounce pass, Sissoko. Out to Sandage for 3. Back iron. And Original had the rebound knocked away from him. Missouri State ball.
Crowd disagrees, but before that, an excellent possession there on the offensive end. Kazumki makes a great one more to Haruna Sissoko, who kicks it out to one of the better shooters on the team in Colton Sandage, and that's why the turnovers are so detrimental. When Illinois State runs their offense, it looks really good, ends up in a wide open 3-pointer.
Chance Moore swings it for Clay. Missouri State winners of 4 of their last 5, coming off a loss though, and a layup. Chance Moore, 9 points for the sophomore. Started for the 3rd time. It's 16 games that he's appeared in this season.
And a 7-0 run here from Missouri State, with the majority of those coming from Chance Moore.
Eight on the timer, Poindexter. Steps into a 3. Halfway down, Lewis, the offensive rebound. Can't get the strong putback.
And I think that might have been a goaltend. I think Original might have had his, you can see the net on the other end.
Yeah, it's, if the ball is on the cylinder, if you make contact with the net like that, it would be a goaltending.
Yeah,
just depending on the timing of when it all happened. Foul called on Lewis. We will get a timeout here. 3:46 left to go first half. Missouri State has its largest lead, 30-22 on the Valley on ESPN. Missouri State, 4-2 in the Valley. Have the lead right now. They have 3 of the next 4 games at home. It'll be a very tough test on Sunday when they take on, and right now, the undefeated Sycamores in Missouri Valley Conference play. And Drake on the road. While Illinois State, Missouri State 4-2, as I mentioned, 8-8 in overall record. Illinois State would like to get this one before they go on the road for their next 2 games. Southern Illinois and then Northern Iowa next week. So the opposite, 3 of the next 4 for Illinois State on the road.
Coming out of this timeout here, Illinois State scoreless in the last 3, 28. Missouri State has made 4 of their last 5, and that's been kind of the difference in its 8 points. Otherwise, both teams kind of playing it pretty closely statistically. 15-13 on the rebound, 6-5 second chance points, 10-8 in the paint. So outside of this one short run here, we've had a pretty evenly matched game thus far.
Missouri State 9 points off of 7 Illinois State turnovers. Chance Moore can't bank it home. Rebound off the floor for Seneca Knight. Illinois State does not have any points off of the 4 Missouri State turnovers thus far.
If Illinois State can get a basket here, that feels like a really big stop.
And Knight fouled as Ridgnall reaching in, called for the foul. And that'll be 1 and 1.
Yeah, and I can't tell if Dana Ford's upset with the official or with Ridgnall for reaching out, but that's one. We've talked about the lack of depth that Missouri State shows. You don't necessarily want one of your better players fouling 40 feet from the basket. Kind of a risk analysis there. Not sure Ridgnall was going to gain anything from a steal right there. Instead, ends up sending Seneca Knight to the line.
6 points for Knight. Coming off 15 points at Evansville in 30 minutes on Saturday. A couple of seasons at San Jose State, a season at BYU, before landing here in Bloomington Normal.
The best free throw shooting team in the conference continues. Seneca Knight 5 of 5 now. He's got 7 and 4 in only 8 minutes, and so some really good minutes in this first half from Seneca Knight.
In Missouri State, they have a much shorter bench than they started with this season. Alston Mason guarded by Sandage. Clay puts it to the floor, pulls up in the lane, tipped up, whistle blows. It's a foul, Illinois State. Not sure if that tip would have counted or not.
I think it would have, Scott. I think they're going to get Kendall Lewis on the box out. I think just the activity of Mogbo, he just refused to be boxed out, and once he was in the air, Kendall Lewis continued that box out and just kind of drove him out of position, and so that would have been an and one, but we're going to get Mogbo here at the line for 2. See right here, yeah, just gets inside position on Kendall Lewis. It kind of gives him that forearm shove in the thigh as he jumps. And one of the keys, Scott, was the first half, and it's certainly not the be-all, end-all, but this Missouri State team under Dana Ford 7-1 this year when leading at the half, but in his career at Missouri State, 68-13 when they lead at the half.
Ogbo made the first, misses the second. 31-24. Missouri State lost Matthew Lee for the season after just 2 games with a torn ACL. Of course, the transfer from the Cinderella St. Peter's team of a year ago. Kazubke gets himself down deep, and 3 in the key is the call on Illinois State. Also, Missouri State, you've had Brian Trimble, who's been out of the lineup the last 6 games. James Graham the last 3. Dawson Carper the last 7.
Yeah, you see Hirono Sissoko just kind of camping there, trying to clear some space for Kasubke, who got cut off by Ridgnall, and now we're 5 minutes here without an Illinois State field goal at the end of the half.
Moore into Mogbo. Mogbo has the advantage on Sandage. Bolted Sandage, really nothing he could do but foul in that issue, in that situation.
Seneca Knight really probably plays the wing, Scott, and so the only true post player on the floor for Illinois State right now is an undersized Hirono Sissoko, and we haven't seen Kochov since he went out. We haven't seen Ryan Schmidt and Lewis and McChesney on the bench, and so the size right now for Illinois State is going to be an issue, and probably one of the better fouls you're going to take as Mogbo struggles from the line here. He's missed 2 in a row, but Sandage just caught himself in a mismatch there, did his best, and Mogbo gets to the line.
Mogbo has been very good the last 5 games for the Bears. Goes 0 for 2 there and tracks down the rebound. Then stepped out of bounds. But over the last 5 games, 10 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3 steals, 2.5 assists. So he's the best, one of the best in the conference in blocks and steals. And showing some offense today. 31-24. Poindexter the basketball has a team-high 8 points for Illinois State. Sandage taken away by Mogbo. Mentioned his steals. He feeds it to Mason, who lays it in. And the lead is now 9 for Missouri State, the largest it's been. And Ryan Pedon will use his use it or lose it 30-second timeout with 1:53 left to go here in the first half. And Missouri State has a 33-24 lead. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a PNC Achiever feature focusing on an athlete here at Illinois State. Of course, we'll have some highlights and some stats. We'll also take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard in the Missouri Valley Conference. It's one of those days, a Wednesday in January in conference season. Plenty of action going on, so we'll check out what's happening around the valley. But now if you're Illinois State, John, you're down by 9 with a minute 53 to go here in the first half. You're most likely not going to make up 9 points here in the next minute 53, but you want to try to grab some momentum here from Missouri State, because obviously they're feeling pretty good right now.
Correct. The last home game we had here, Scott, Northern Iowa, Illinois State found themselves in a similar position and kept getting the lead back to 5 and back to 6. And you just don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to come back from 11 or 13. And so you mentioned it, you're not going to get 9 points back in 153 here, but you have to think you're going to have 3 or 4 solid possessions. And so we'll see what they come up with out of the timeout. Missouri State's going to come out in a zone here, and so whatever Ryan Peden drew up was probably for the man-to-man that Missouri State has been running. So Dana Ford comes out and throws a little wrinkle here.
Bogbo went for the steal. Poindexter left alone for 3, cans it. Malachi Poindexter with 11 points now here in the first half.
And there are times where coaches just tend to overthink it. And the man-to-man defense for Missouri State hadn't given up a basket in 5:30, and maybe Dana Ford feels like you want to stick with that and went to the zone, but when you switch defenses, guys can get confused and ends up with an open 3.
Chance Moore, he drives into Sissoko. The outside referee calling a block. I don't know if the referee down low called a charge or not, but they're going with the block on Arona Sissoko.
Let's take a look at the replay, see if he was inside the circle. I mean, that's about as textbook a charge.
I thought I saw his foot still coming together when the upward motion had begun. And I think that's the key there, is that Moore was gathering and Sissoko's left foot in this instance was moving across. Now, a lot of times that call is made the other way as well, though.
Yeah, I think it's challenging official to official. Some guys look at the body and see if they're still moving or their arms are up. Some guys look at the feet. Some guys look at the circle, and that's one of those calls as an official. It's virtually impossible to know exactly what's going on at all times, and I think right there, Chance Moore just kind of took off from farther away. Sissoko probably had another half second, like you said, Scott, to really get the feet set, and Moore's athleticism offsets Sissoko's positioning as he gets 1 of 2 from the line.
10 points for Chance Moore. Lead is 7 coming up on a minute remaining here in the first half. Poindexter with the 11. His 6th double-figure game as a Redbird. Knight down low, nowhere to go. Out to Poindexter. Looks confident with his shot and shows it. 14 points for Malachi Poindexter. Timeout, Dana Ford and Missouri State, as the Redbirds are within 4. And Malachi Poindexter doing what he needs to do to bring his Illinois State team back to within 4.
Shooting it just really, really well. And right here, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. One of those ones where you can just rise up and shoot over Mason, who has not played a lot of minutes here on the year for Missouri State. And Scott, we said you're not going to get 9 back here before the half, but
maybe
2 quick threes makes it a lot